The dense forest was alive with the whispers of rustling leaves, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and pine. Naruto Uzumaki crouched low on a gnarled tree branch, his cerulean eyes sharp as they scanned the shadows below. The mission had seemed straightforward: track down a rogue ninja rumored to be kidnapping villagers, but the eerie silence told him this was no ordinary foe. His fingers tightened around a kunai, the cool metal of familiar comfort. Behind him, the faintest creak of wood against wood sent a chill down his spine. He spun just in time to see a skeletal puppet lunging at him, its jagged fingers glinting with poison. Naruto barely dodged, flipping backward as the puppet's claws grazed his orange jacket. "TCH, what the hell is this?" he muttered, landing lightly on another branch. The puppet didn't respond, its hollow eyes locking onto him with unnatural precision. Then, from the darkness, a low chuckle echoed. "So, the famed Jinchuriki has come to play," a voice crooned. A figure emerged, draped in tattered robes, his pallid skin marked with ominous black seals. His fingers danced like spiders on invisible strings, and 3 more puppets slithered from the trees, their joints clicking menacingly. The puppet master's grin was a ghastly sight, his teeth too sharp, his gaze too hungry. "You're just in time to witness the power of my dark curse," he hissed. Naruto's stomach twisted. This wasn't just a rogue ninja. This was something worse. The man's chakra felt wrong, like oil on water, suffocating and vile. Without hesitation, Naruto formed a hand sign. Shadow Clone Jutsu. In a puff of smoke, 5 identical Narutos appeared, each wielding kunai. They charged as one, a blur of orange and steel. The puppets moved unnaturally fast, their limbs bending at impossible angles. One clone was impaled midair, vanishing in a puff of smoke. Another was caught in a wire trap, sliced apart before it could react. Naruto gritted his teeth. These things were faster than any puppet he'd faced before. He needed a different approach. Channeling chakra into his feet, he shot forward, aiming straight for the puppet master. But the man didn't flinch. With a flick of his wrist, a puppet with a gaping maw lunged, spewing a cloud of purple mist. Naruto recoiled, recognizing the poison. He backflipped, but the mist clung to his sleeve, the fabric dissolving instantly. Damn it. He tore off the sleeve, his skin burning where the poison had touched. The puppet master laughed. "You're outmatched, boy. My puppets are extensions of my will, and my curse makes them unstoppable." As if to prove his point, the puppets' bodies began to warp, their wooden frames cracking as black ooze seeped from their joints. Their eyes glowed crimson, and their movements became even more erratic, more vicious. Naruto wiped his mouth, his mind racing. He couldn't keep dodging forever. He needed power, enough to crush these things in one blow. Closing his eyes, he reached deep within, feeling the familiar surge of Kyuubi's chakra. His skin tingled as red energy flickered around him, his whisker marks darkening. When he opened his eyes, they burned with determination. "All right, freak show," he growled. "Let's see how you handle this." The puppet master's smirk faltered for the first time as Naruto's form blurred, his speed now inhuman. With a single punch, he shattered a puppet into splinters, the force sending shockwaves through the trees. The remaining puppets lunged, but Naruto was faster. He weaved between them, his fists wreathed in chakra, each strike landing with devastating force. One puppet managed to graze his shoulder, but the wound sealed almost instantly, steam rising from his skin. The puppet master snarled, his fingers twitching frantically. "You think this is enough?" he spat. "My curse grants me power beyond your comprehension." His hands formed a complex seal, and the ground trembled. From the earth, a monstrous puppet emerged, its body stitched together from the remains of the fallen, its maw dripping with that same black ooze. Naruto's breath hitched. This wasn't just a fight anymore, it was a battle against something ancient, something cursed. But Naruto had faced worse. With a roar, he charged headlong into the fray, his fists blazing with the might of the 9 tails. The final clash was about to begin. The air crackled with tension as Naruto lunged forward, his Rasengan swirling violently in his palm, the blue chakra illuminating his determined face. Across the battlefield, the puppet master, cloaked in shadows, flicked his fingers with eerie precision, sending a dozen cursed marionettes screeching through the air, their jagged blades glinting under the moonlight. The clash was immediate, wood splintered as Naruto's Rasengan obliterated the first puppet, but 3 more darted around him, their movements unnervingly fluid. He gritted his teeth, feeling the sting of a shallow cut across his shoulder. This wasn't just any opponent, this was a man who wielded darkness itself. The puppet master's laughter echoed, a sound like grinding bones. "You're outmatched, boy. My curse feeds on your fear." His puppets twisted unnaturally, their joints bending in ways no human could mimic, their eyes glowing with an eerie crimson light. Naruto dodged a razor wire net, flipping backward as another puppet spat a stream of poison needles. His mind raced, he couldn't just overpower them. He needed to outthink them. Channeling Kurama's chakra, his whisker marks darkened, and golden energy flared around him. "Bring it on," he roared, charging again, this time splitting into shadow clones that fanned out in a coordinated assault. The battlefield became a whirlwind of motion. Clones weaved between puppet strikes, some sacrificing themselves to create openings while others aimed precise strikes at the chakra strings controlling the deadly marionettes. Naruto's movements grew sharper, faster, his instincts honed by years of battle. But the puppet master was no fool. With a snarl, he bit his thumb and smeared blood across a cursed scroll. The ground trembled as a massive, grotesque puppet emerged, its body stitched together from fallen warriors, its maw dripping with black ooze. Naruto's eyes widened. What the hell is that? The monstrosity lunged, its speed defying its size, and a single swipe sent him skidding across the dirt. Pain flared in his ribs, but he forced himself up. He could feel Kurama's growl in his mind. Pathetic. You're holding back. Naruto clenched his fists. I'm not done yet. Drawing deeper on the Nine Tails' power, his cloak erupted into a fiery mantle, tails of chakra lashing behind him. He moved like a blur, dodging the colossal puppet's crushing blows and landing a devastating uppercut that sent it staggering. But the puppet master wasn't finished. With a chant, the dark curse activated, a swirling vortex of shadows erupted from his palms, ensnaring Naruto in inky tendrils that sapped his strength. You fight well, the master sneered, but my curse drains even the mightiest chakra. You'll wither before you land another blow. Naruto's muscles burned as the energy was leached from him, his golden cloak flickering. His vision blurred, but then, a voice cut through the haze. Believe in yourself, idiot. Sasuke? Sakura? No, it was his own resolve, screaming back. With a deafening roar, Naruto's chakra exploded outward, shattering the curse's grip. The puppet master staggered, his confidence flickering for the first time. Impossible. Naruto's eyes gleamed with newfound ferocity. You don't know a damn thing about me. In one final, desperate surge, he summoned a massive Rasen Shuriken, its screeching winds tearing through the battlefield. The colossal puppet lunged, but it was too late. The attack connected, shredding the abomination into splinters before hurtling toward the puppet master himself. The man barely had time to scream as the technique engulfed him, the force sending shockwaves through the earth. Silence. Then, smoke cleared, revealing the puppet master collapsed, his cursed puppet's lifeless husks. Naruto panted, his body aching but victorious. But just as he turned to leave, a guttural laugh bubbled from the fallen foe. Fool. The curse. It's already inside you. Naruto's blood ran cold as black veins crept up his arm. The battle wasn't over, it was only beginning. The air crackled with tension as Naruto stood opposite the puppet master, his breath ragged, his orange jacket torn from countless clashes. The cursed marionettes, twisted, shadow-cloaked figures, lurched forward, their hollow eyes glowing with malevolence. The battlefield was a ruin of shattered trees and upturned earth, the remnants of their earlier skirmishes. Naruto's fists clenched, his fingernails biting into his palms. He had pushed himself beyond his limits, but the puppet master's dark curse fed on despair, growing stronger with every ounce of fear it siphoned from its victims. The puppet master sneered, his gaunt face half hidden beneath a tattered hood. You fight so hard, yet you cannot even touch me. My curse is eternal, your strength is nothing but kindling for its hunger. His fingers twitched, and the marionettes lunged, blades glinting in the dim light. Naruto barely dodged, a kunai scraping his cheek as he spun, slamming a Rasengan into one puppet's chest. It exploded into splinters, but two more took its place instantly. He gritted his teeth. This wasn't working. Sasuke's voice echoed in his mind, think, idiot. You can't just brute force everything. Naruto's eyes narrowed. The curse wasn't just powering the puppets, it was the puppet master's lifeline. If he could sever that connection. His fingers flicked through seals, summoning a shadow clone. The duplicate charged, drawing the puppet's attention while Naruto darted sideways, his chakra flaring. The puppet master's smirk faltered for a fraction of a second, just long enough. With a roar, Naruto unleashed a barrage of kunai, each wrapped in explosive tags. The detonations rocked the battlefield, smoke billowing. The puppet master staggered, coughing, but before he could react, Naruto was already upon him, Rasengan blazing in his palm. The impact sent the dark sorcerer skidding back, his cloak singed. Yet, the curse pulsed, tendrils of shadow knitting his wounds. Foolish boy, he spat. You cannot destroy what is already dead. Naruto's muscles screamed in protest, his vision blurring from exhaustion. But then, he felt it, the faintest flicker of something familiar within the curse. Pain. Loneliness. The same hollow ache he'd once carried. His breath hitched. This wasn't just a curse. It was a trapped soul. The puppet master wasn't just controlling it, he was feeding on its suffering. A surge of determination burned through Naruto's veins. He wouldn't let this continue. Channeling Kurama's chakra, his body erupted in a fiery orange aura. The puppet master's eyes widened as Naruto vanished, reappearing behind him in a blur. Before the sorcerer could react, Naruto's hand clamped onto his wrist, his other palm pressing against the curse seal on the man's chest. I'm ending this, Naruto growled. Golden chakra surged, not to destroy, but to purify. The puppet master screamed as the curse writhed, shadows peeling away like burned parchment. The trapped soul within, a forgotten shinobi, once enslaved, shone briefly before dissolving into light. The marionettes collapsed, lifeless. The puppet master crumpled to his knees, his power draining away. His hollow laugh was barely a whisper. You spared it? That weakness will be your doom. Naruto exhaled, his body trembling from the effort. No. It's what makes me stronger than you. The aftermath was quiet. The forest, once choked with darkness, breathed again. Villagers emerged from hiding, their faces awed. The puppet master, now powerless, was taken into custody, his reign of terror over. But Naruto knew this victory wasn't just about stopping one enemy, it was proof that even the darkest curses could be broken with compassion. As the sun rose, casting gold over the battlefield, Naruto allowed himself a small smile. The fight had pushed him to his limits, but it had also reminded him of why he fought. And somewhere, in the depths of the universe, the balance had shifted, because one boy had refused to give up on even a lost soul.